Hey, I just thought of something cool. Before I talk about my Sega Master System, I mentioned the other night that both Matt Asher and Vic Sizemore should be, within the next 2 weeks, appearing. Hopefully, I can get them one of those nights over to talk about stuff. Both of them, I'm sure, both of them are great storytellers, and both of them are good writers, and have very rich pasts. Oh, you're getting added to the list, bitch. I hate that word, too. Pasts. Pasts. Chests. Discs. Ooh, evil. Whoever thought of those words? Well, they're probably dead anyway. Anywho, Sega Master System. Well, my point is, I thought it might be fun to do an outdoor session at night with all the band around a fire pit talking about stuff. And so I'm going to do my best to make that happen. If I got to break some knees, I'll break some knees. I'd do that. No, I've never broken anyone's knee. Intentionally, that I know of, at least. Maybe in my mind. The Sega Master System. Sorry. Oh my god. It did so much. It introduced me to video games, truly. You know, I'd played Atari 2600 for years before that. But it had been years until a new gen console came out. Like, nowadays, you know it's coming eventually in some form or another. Whether it's all digital or disc-based or Blu-ray or whatever, the 4K, anything, you know it's coming out. Back then, when Atari 2600 came out, maybe if you were older, you knew this, but I didn't. I figured that was it. Like, we finally have video games we can play at home. When the Nintendo came out that Christmas, it was just like, I had a hard time wrapping my brain around what I was seeing. Like, it's a new generation of game. You mean they improve and they come out year after year? I didn't know this. Like, I don't think any little kid really knew it. Maybe if you're, like I said, a little older at the time, you knew it. But so yeah, so these systems came out, and the game, I had a lot of Sega Master System games. One of them that was really cool is Fantasy Zone. Look up, if you've ever owned a Sega Master System and don't know what I'm talking about, look up Fantasy Zone, and you'll know immediately. It was the most colorful, side-scrolling ship shooter game I've ever played, and you could upgrade your ship and its weapons and stuff like that, and it was awesome. It was a really good game. Space Harrier was that one where it was kind of like you were in a F-16 or something, you know, like a ship. But you were a guy holding a cannon that could go back and forth, and these dragons would come out. The bosses, you'd have to shoot their heads and tails and kill all of them, and that was a good game. But Miracle Warriors, Seal of the Dark Lord. I may have mentioned this before, but it's the very first taste of fantasy I ever had in my life. It was the very first role-playing game I ever played on a console or a PC or anything like that. And I remember just thinking, like, why is every game not like this? Like, you upgrade everything about your character, like boots, you know, or certain pieces of armor, and you could get new weapons and new spells, and you had to pick because you had to earn money, and dungeon crawling, I wish I still had them. Every single dungeon I went in, I would start, like, you know, towards one end of the paper, and I'd start drawing it out. I should have started in the middle, I realize now, but so you would do that just so you wouldn't lose your way. Okay, there's a right-hand turn here, but I went left. Like, I would cartograph? I would cartograph all of those? Is that right? Probably not. Anywho, just to remember my way through the dungeons, because I remember the first time I didn't, I was terrified as a little kid. Like, I was like, you mean my characters are going to die? What happens if they die? Can I keep playing the game? Like, I can't afford to lose here. Maybe I was a little committed to those characters. Anywho. That was it. Like, role-playing games. Another game that came out later on that was even better than that. But Miracle Warriors has that special place in my heart as being the first RPG. It was my first. Phantasy Star was cool because it went through several generations of characters, 3 generations, and you could play it through each time with the starting character, and then make one of 3 choices, and then another one of 3 choices for each one, I think. So you had 9 possible endings. 1, 3, 9. Yeah. Of course, they're not as intricate as they are today, but it was still good. Oh, Sonic was another great. I liked it so much better than Mario. Mario was timing. Well, I mean, Sonic was to a certain degree too, but I had the timing down perfect on Sonic, whereas Mario, I wasn't very good at it. Like, some people could fly through, like, the first, like, half of the game in, like, 20 minutes or something. Not me. It was all about, my timer would be running out. I'd be like, I don't know if I can make this jump. And Populous. Now, that was the first game for any console that I remember that introduced you to simulation and building. Actually, you're basically God, and you can tell the people, build, a palace to me here, build a residential there, and then you could shape the land, and you always wanted to level the land as best as you could, away from, like, volcanoes and stuff. And so that introduced me to simulation games, which was definitely huge. Because some of my favorite games are SimCity and The Sims. Just best games, just my favorite games. My phone is really starting to piss me off. It's time for a new phone. It takes forever to update. Yeah, so that's the Sega Master System. There's no way we're getting to... There's no possibility we're getting up to PS4 tonight. This is going to be a 3 or 4 night event. This may be a continuation. This episode, see, this is kind of destroys things for me, because I can't technically call these all different episodes. I guess I could. I could just call them episode 34, 35, 36, 37, because they're all going to be long and arduous. I don't even know what that word means. I like the sound of it, though. It's way better than past. Say it. Say it. Tell me it doesn't piss your lips and tongue off. Past. Oh, it makes you spit. It makes you salivate like a dog. Terrible word. I'm never using that word again. Somebody commented on something here, and I can't get to it. Damn phone. You kids and your technologies. I just press that. Just go there. Just do the thing. Do the thing you're supposed to do. My friend posted this under one of the comments. Come on. Anywho, I use my magic. Oh, it's a great picture. I gotta save that one. Magic. Anyhow, Facebook. Alright, let's see. 8 minutes. I get Sega Master System. Maybe even Genesis on this next one. Shirt's tight. It makes me feel yucky, and I don't like it. I must call upon the power of, you know it's coming, block of corn. Let's not waste each other's time here. I'm going to go just straight down the list. So I'll get maybe Genesis done tonight. Then we'll go on to Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Song of Solomon. I'd have to look at the Bible. It's been too long. Super Nintendo. Now things are starting to change. Genesis and Super Nintendo come out. I think I gotta shave again. Okay, so here's the thing. Super Nintendo has 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons now on the right, an 8-way directional pad, select, start, which remain consistent throughout last generation consoles, and a bumper on top. Genesis offers 3 buttons on the face, no, 6 buttons on the face plus start, select, and 2 bumpers. So my thinking is, it's rational thinking, the more buttons you have, the more you can do way down the line. Now, I was still playing video games. This was the first generation where I ran into problems. Upside down. I played all my games upside down. So, the front of the controller, where most people would do this, I was doing this. Underneath was where I was doing everything. And that felt natural to do it that way. Like, until Genesis, when they started adding the bumpers, all of a sudden, like playing Street Fighter or something, which happens to be on my, it's actually number 1. Street Fighter 2 for Super Nintendo. That was the first fighter I got introduced to, and the only fighter series I ever was decent at. I liked a lot of the other series. They looked really good and stuff, but Street Fighter 2 was the first game that I was just like, Ryu? Oh, I would whip all my friends' ass with Ryu. I was really good. In the arcade, I'd probably get my ass kicked, but I never played at the arcade because I felt like I was throwing away money. So, that was my favorite game for the Super Nintendo. Now, mind you, there's 3 other games that are very close. Super Mario World, Super Mario World, I believe, was the one. I don't want to be wrong here, that's why I'm still looking. I wrote it on the previous sheet. Oh, yes. Super Mario World was the one that introduced Yoshi, where you could get the egg, and you jump on its back, and it could grab things with its tongue, and it always guaranteed you an extra life, because worst case scenario, if you were falling down a hole, you had the opportunity to jump off and sacrifice Yoshi to get back up top. Didn't work all the time, but when it did, it was really good. I gotta write a note here, and then actually I'm gonna have to stop this because I got a tinkle. Uh-oh. I have to write this down because I want to share my post on there. See if he minds. Yeah, I'm going to pause this for a moment. Let's see. Super Mario World. We'll pick it up on either Link to the Past or Mario Kart. So hang tight. I know this isn't 20 minutes, but I got to make a pee. I'll be right back, I promise. Come right back. It's going to pick up right where I left off. Okay? I'll be right back.